All right, so we're going to go ahead and open the Tech2 Win, which is an emulator for the Tech2. So the Tech2 Win, the Tech2, the original Tech2 was a handheld scan tool. This here is an emulator which uses the vehicle interface called the MDI, which is also a GM tool. The MDI was kind of the replacement of the Tech2. The MDI is just an interface. It's a J2534 interface device that is what interfaces your your vehicle with the computer, with the software, or with GDS2, which is the latest um, scan tool software. When we'll go ahead and show it in a little while. Ah, this. So, okay. All right. I went a little ahead of myself. So, uh, remember we were talking about doing a diagnostic system checks, which is essentially kind of pinging all modules, making sure that all modules communicate with the vehicle or with their scan tool. And at the same time, we're going to verify whether we have trouble codes or not. Okay, so within that, you know, less than a second, it pinged all modules, and then we are able to communicate with all these modules. 10 modules we have listed here, all communicated. We have as of right now, we have one DTC that is present in the radio. Now, would we, at this point, if we were troubleshooting this vehicle, would we want to, let's say, erase? No, right? We don't want to erase. We don't even know what DTC it is. Right? So we know it's in the radio. Radio is going to be what? Powertrain, body, or chassis? It's most likely going to be body, right? Body. So this is manual, base radio. So I have continue. Okay. So this is what we see. BCM. Um, radio. Okay. Here's a radio. Let's go look at DTCs in the radio. So boom. Communicating. Okay. So we have three trouble codes in the radio module. The radio has B1025, audio output 1 left front circuit, B1035, audio output 2 right front circuit, and then audio output 3 left rear circuit. Now, since these are body codes, These are not OBD2 codes, right? These are not emissions related DTC. So are we going to have freeze frames or failure records? Not necessarily. So now what we do from here is we note these down. We grab a piece of paper, note them down. Then we go into what? Service information. We get our information on what exactly does it mean. We get some description information of the system. We get some troubleshooting trees. We get more description of what exactly is happening, what features are deactivated, what actions are taken when this DTC sets, when this DTC fails. All right, so okay, all right, but in this demo, what I want to do is I want to demonstrate like a misfire detection. We are going to simulate a misfire. We're actually going to cause a misfire in this truck. So I want you guys to see. So as of right now, when we did the when we did our diagnostic system check, we saw that only the radio had information, right? So we can double check. TCC information, no diagnostic trouble codes. Um, so now we can even look to see what, because right now, because when we do a DTC test or a DTC, when we look for DTCs, we're actually asking for DTCs that have failed currently, right? So we're saying, hey, or either are in history, are pending. So they have to be in a status, in a different status than not ran, right? Or not ran and passed. That would be another one that won't show up. If it ran and passed, it won't show up here. If it hasn't even ran, it won't show up here. But if we look for a specific DTC, like PO, it's 300. No, that's two. I messed up. Clear. Okay. P0300. Press enter. Okay. Now we see this PO300 in here, right? Last test, passed. This ignition cycle, passed. Since cleared, passed. So this DTC, as far as the onboard diagnostic system check for this specific thing or for this specific trouble code is passing. It ran the test. It's looking for those misfires. Remember, we're looking at the crankshaft position sensor is uh is looking for changes, right? And we see a change, or if we see a lack of change from one of the cylinders, or when it's expected, it's going to fail this misfire code. So you can kind of go through a list here. Here's another option. There's more options. You can go look at every single DTC that's um in this controller, in this module, which is the ECM, and go check to see which ones ran, which ones have not ran this ignition status, this ignition cycle. Now, we did mention earlier about IM system information. Remember when you go smog your car, if any of these, like, let's say I went to go smog this truck and one of these said no, just regardless of whether this car is running good or not, if any of these say no, we will not be able to smog your car. The computer, that machine that hooks up to your vehicle during smog, so the smog machine, it communicates with the computers almost in the exact same way that I'm doing right now. The exact same, using almost the same messages. These are all OBD2 specific, OBD2 standards. So they're gonna get this. They're gonna say, okay, nope, or yes right now. Yes, 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 yes. If in the case where we have, let's say, one of the O2 sensor heaters, I just clear the DTCs, right? Actually, one of the ones that takes forever to run is the EVAP system, right? So if we clear the DTCs right now, Within a few hours, I'll probably get all of them except the evap. Evap, you need like a one cold. For the 442 to run, you need it to be cold, cold startup, and you need it to be between 15 and I believe 75% of fuel. So in between those two numbers, and then that trouble code 442 is set. So each specific test or each IM system has a certain amount of trouble codes assigned to it. If any of those codes either fell or have not been run, this thing will say no. Okay, so now, oops, yeah, okay. Now let's look at some information, some data. So we can look at engine data, and this is one thing that you guys are going to get used to. This is going to be kind of your eyes, your window into the vehicle. This is going to be like you looking in like a doctor using a um, using a stethoscope or something to hear your heartbeat, right? So let's see, engine data. So here's RPM. We got all sorts of information. We got desired idle speed where it wants to be. Okay, if we had something that was way higher, you would probably have an issue with something. Throttle bot in this case, your tax system, throttle actuated control system, or something like that, right? 89 degrees Celsius. We can change units. Hey, I don't know. I don't want to use Celsius. Let's use Fahrenheit. Okay, so that's just some information here. Injectors. Here's your injector, your pulse width. This is how much. So if I'm gonna kind of rev it up a little bit and see. So okay. So lots of information. We'll talk um, more specific, more specifically about certain data points or certain data parameters. Once we start getting into something more specific like fuel injectors and stuff. So or DEF system or the after treatment system. Um, okay, so right now misfire data. So we can look at counts, specific counts. So right now we had actually two misfires, probably when I was revving up the engine. So yeah, so as a there was, I mean, there's gonna be a certain amount. There's gonna be a normal amount of misfires detected, but obviously my PO300 never set. So two every once random and every once in a while you will see something like that, right? The minute and you will see the difference between what it looks like when it's actually misfiring. So this is one way to look at things. You can also some especially the newer cars, you have a lot of beautiful graphs you can look at uh, to help you visualize what's going on. This should have, I believe, it's been a while, but I think, okay, yeah, we have graphics here. So you can actually see the graphics. You can see, and it leaves you a nice little history of. Okay, so let's see if I can get at least those two. Okay, see, you got those two counts there. All right, but that's nothing. I mean, that's nothing, right? So if we actually had a misfire, then we would see something. Let me go ahead and try to cause a misfire. Alright, so I unplugged the ignition coil for cylinder number 3. You can see many misfires, just racking up points, racking up counts, I mean. And so that's one way to visualize it, right? You can also look at go back and look at misfire data, and we can see cylinder number 3 racking up points, right? Racking up points. So that would be an indication. Now, you notice that we have both history and we have current, right? So a current is like a little like a time you get to a certain amount. I think it's 256 most likely, and then it racks one for or in the it adds it up in the history. So you're gonna see this change every once in a while. So the count has a limit. The history should give you the total amount of misfires. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Here, let me turn it off before.